Canadian politics. Picture it like a massive iceberg floating in the cold northern waters. What you see above the surface is just the tip, but underneath lies a complex system that keeps the Great White North running. Let's start with the basics. Canada isn't just a land of maple syrup and polite apologies. It's also a land of 10 provinces, 3 territories, and enough political intrigue to make even the most seasoned diplomat break a sweat. From the mountains of British Columbia to the rolling plains of Saskatchewan, each region has its own unique identity and political landscape. But no matter where you go in this vast land, there's one person who reigns supreme, the Prime Minister. Ah, yes, the Prime Minister, the captain of this political ship, steering us through the treacherous waters of Canadian politics with all the grace of a moose on roller skates. So grab your parka and your sense of humour, my fellow friends, because we're about to embark on a journey through the icy depths of Canadian politics. And trust me, it's going to be a wild ride. All right, let's kick things off with a crash course in Canadian geography. Now, I know what you're thinking, geography. Isn't this supposed to be a video about politics? Well, my friend, geography and politics go hand in hand like maple syrup and pancakes. You see, Canada is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories, each with its own unique culture, history, and political landscape. From the bustling metropolises of Ontario and Quebec to the rugged wilderness of the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, there's no shortage of diversity in this frozen land. But here's where things get really interesting. Each province and territory has its own government responsible for local matters like healthcare, education, and transportation. It's like having a mini Canada within Canada, complete with its own set of rules and regulations. So whether you're in Alberta or Newfoundland, Manitoba or Nunavut, rest assured that your local government has got your back. Well, most of the time anyway. The Prime Minister, the big cheese, the top dog, the head honcho of Canadian politics. Think of them as the captain of this political ship, navigating the choppy waters of Parliament with all the finesse of a lumberjack wielding a hockey stick. But don't be fooled by the title Prime Minister. They're not just some ordinary minister. Oh no, they're the leader of the party that wins the most seats in Parliament, making them the de facto ruler of the Great White North. And speaking of Parliament, that's where all the real action happens. It's like a political circus, with MPs from all across the country duking it out over laws, policies, and the occasional scandal. Now, the Parliament itself is divided into 2 parts, the House of Commons and the Senate. The House is where the real magic happens, or should I say, the real mayhem. It's like a raucous dinner party, with MPs shouting, heckling, and occasionally even getting some work done. And then there's the Senate, the so-called chamber of sober second thought. But let's be honest, it's more like a retirement home for political appointees, complete with cushy salaries and all the free coffee you can drink. But hey, that's Canadian politics for you, a never-ending roller coaster of drama, intrigue, and the occasional outbreak of politeness. Now, let's talk about how Canadians choose their leaders. We use a system called first past the post, which is kind of like a game of musical chairs where the person with the most votes gets the seat. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it's about as Canadian as maple syrup on pancakes. But here's the catch, MPs don't necessarily need a majority of votes to win. It's like winning a game of hockey with technical violation from the other team. Sure, you technically won, but it doesn't feel quite right. And just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, there's the Queen. Yes, you heard that right. Canada still has a monarch, albeit one who resides across the pond in Buckingham Palace. Her role is mostly symbolic, like a fancy coat of arms on official documents, or that weird uncle at family gatherings who nobody really knows what to do with. I hope you learned a bit about how Canadian politics work. See you all next time. Peace out.